Of all the Cherokee wizards or witches, the most dreaded is the Ravenmocker, the one that robs the dying man of life. They are of either sex, and there is no sure way to know one, though they usually look withered and old, because they have added so many lives to their own. At night, when someone is sick or dying in the settlement, the Ravenmocker goes to the place to take the life. He flies through the air in fiery shape, with arms outstretched like wings, and sparks trailing behind, and a rushing sound like the noise of a strong wind. Every little while as he flies, he makes a cry, like the cry of a raven when it dives in the air, not like the common raven cry, and those who hear are afraid, because they know that some man's life will soon go out. When the Ravenmocker comes to the house, he finds others of his kind waiting there, and unless there is a doctor on guard who knows how to drive them away, they go inside, all invisible, and frighten and torment the sick man until they kill him. Sometimes, to do this, they even lift him from the bed and throw him on the floor, but his friends who are with him think he is only struggling for breath. After the witches kill him, they take out his heart and eat it, and so add to their own lives as many days or years as they have taken from his. No one in the room can see them, and there is no seer where they take out the heart, but yet there is no heart left in the body. Only one who has the right medicine can recognize a Ravenmocker, and if such a man stays in the room with the sick person, these witches are afraid to come in, and retreat as soon as they see him, because when one of them is recognized in his right shape, he must die within 7 days. There was once a man named Galunsky who had this medicine and used it to hunt for Ravenmockers, and killed several. When the friends of a dying person know that there is no more hope, they always try to have one of these medicine men stay in the house and watch the body until it is buried, because after burial the witches do not steal the heart. The other witches are jealous of the Ravenmockers and afraid to come into the same house with one. Once a man who had the witch medicine was watching by a sick man and saw these other witches outside trying to get in. All at once they heard a Ravenmocker cry overhead, and the others scattered like a flock of pigeons when the hawk swoops. When at last a Ravenmocker dies, these other witches sometimes take revenge by digging up the body and abusing it. The following is told on the reservation as an actual
happening. A young man had been out on a hunting trip and was on his way home when night came on while he was still a long distance from the settlement. He knew of a house not far up the trail where an old man and his wife lived, so he turned in the direction to look for a place to sleep until morning. When he got to the house, there was nobody in it. He looked into the house and found no one there either. He thought maybe they had gone after water, and so stretched himself out in the farther corner to sleep. Very soon he heard a raven cry outside, and in a little while afterwards the old man came into the house and sat down by the fire without noticing the young man, who kept still in the corner. Soon there was another raven cry outside, and the old man said to himself, "Now my wife is coming." And sure enough, in a little while the old woman came in and sat by her husband. Then the young man knew they were Ravenmockers, and he was frightened and kept very quiet. Said the old man to his wife, "Well, what luck did you have?" "None," said the old woman. "There were too many doctors watching." "What luck did you have?" "I got what I went for," said the old man. "There is no reason to fail. But you never have luck. Take this and cook it, and at least have something to eat." She fixed the fire, and the young man smelled meat roasting, and thought it smelled sweeter than any meat he had ever tasted. He peeped out of one eye, and it looked like a man's heart roasting on a stick. Suddenly, the old woman said to her husband, "Who is over there in the corner?" "Nobody," said the old man. "Yes, there is," said the old woman. "I hear him snoring." And she stirred the fire until it blazed and lighted up the whole place. And there was the young man lying in the corner. He kept quiet and pretended to be asleep. The old man made a noise at the fire to wake him, but he still pretended to sleep. Then the old man came over and shook him, and he sat and rubbed his eyes as if he had been asleep the whole time. Now it was near daylight, and the old woman was out in the other house getting breakfast ready, but the hunter could hear her crying to herself. "Why is your wife crying?" he asked the old man. "Oh, she has lost some of her friends lately and feels lonesome," said her husband. But the young man knew that she was crying because he had heard them talking. When they came out to breakfast, the old man put a bowl of corn mush before him and said, "This is all we have. We have had no meat for a long time." After breakfast, the young man started on again. But when he had gone a little way, the old man ran after him with a fine piece of bedwork and gave it to him, saying, "Take this, and don't tell anybody what you heard last night, because my wife and I are always quarreling that way." The young man took the piece, but when he came to the first creek, he threw it in the water, and then went to the settlement. There he told the whole story, and a party of warriors started back with him to kill the raven-mockers. When they reached the place, it was 7 days after the first night. They found the old man and his wife lying dead in the house, so they set fire to it and burned it and the witches together.